My name is Tahisha McCabe, and I am the head of the Strathclyde Institute for Genealogical Studies. And today I'm going to give you just a real overview of the Institute itself. But our course director, Callista Williams, is going to then take us through the rest of the hour and talk about the course and the masters and kind of the different permutations of the ways that one can take the masters as we go along. So we have received some questions as folks signed up. So we've got some answers for those, but feel free, please, to put questions into the chat area and we will get to those as well. So yeah, Calista, can you move us on to the next slide? Great. So yeah, so the Institute. So the master's program that you're all either applied for or are interested in is part of the Institute for Genealogical Studies, and the Institute's just basically a big umbrella under which things like the master's degree and some short courses and lots of events and other things run. And so the Institute's about 3 years old now, and we're doing things like running conferences, both online and in person and hybrid, and doing professional development courses and just a whole range of other things. But yeah, it's basically allowed us the space to do these extra things as well as the master's degree, which is really the core of what we do at the Institute. So, Calista, next slide, please. So just to give some examples of the kinds of events that we run. So every quarter, so 4 times a year, we do what we're calling spotlight talks. And those are around about 45 to 50-minute talks by luminaries, interesting people in the genealogy field that talk about, obviously specific aspects of their work, their areas of interest. We've had people talk about DNA subjects. We had a woman come and talk about her work at the Ministry of Defense's group that look for and try to track people who combatants who died during wartime whose remains are unidentified. So they work to identify those people and then hopefully to connect them with living family if there are any. Our next talk that's happening is in September, and we have the woman who runs the genealogy program at Brigham Young University. She's a historian and a genealogist, and she's going to come and talk about her work looking at siblings in England and how she approaches that from both a historical and a genealogical frame. Looking forward into the coming year, we're working with history here at Strathclyde to bring some events, talks, courses to focus on the history that Scotland and America have right around the War of Independence. And so that's still in progress, and I'm still in discussion with history, so I'm not exactly sure we're going to be offering, but so look out for information on that. And then next summer, I'm really pleased to say that we're going to be doing a 2-day academic conference in late June. And that will be hybrid. So if you want to come to Glasgow, please do. But if you need to see that online, that will be possible as well. And so again, we're looking at different academic disciplines and how they inform genealogy, also looking at how AI is increasingly being used in genealogy, DNA testing, and also considering how the education in genealogy is advancing as well. So when we do lots of other things throughout the world in terms of events too. So next slide, Calista. And then, so another strand of the Institute is our research projects. And these are some examples of things that we've done in the past. So the Battle of Bannockburn and the Declaration of Arbroath are both of course, very Scottish focused. But for both of those, there's been a strand of DNA testing involved, but also just some very hardcore traditional genealogy going into tracing the people who in the terms of the Battle of Bannockburn, who fought, and the Declaration of Arbroath, those people who were the signatories, or the people who put their seals onto the Declaration, and finding out who they were, and then can we trace any living descendants. And our team is also starting to look at clans and families and tracing the DNA lineages. Again, can they find a particular person who's the person who's um, traceable back to an early chieftain of the clan? So there's lots of information on our website about those different projects, should you be interested. So next slide, please, Calista. Yeah, and then the rest of the time today is going to be spent talking about the education program, particularly the postgraduate program. So I'll switch over to Calista and let her take over.
Well, hi everyone. Yeah, so as Tahisha said, I'm the course director for the MSc in Genealogical Studies. So as Tahisha was saying, this fits very nicely as part of SIGS and all the other work that we do. But as you've come to this session, this is probably the thing that you're interested in and thinking about joining. So what I've done, I've had a look at the questions that you've sent in. I think some of the slides will answer some of the questions that you've put, but if there's something that is a burning question at the end, then pop it into the chat, or you can unmute and ask us. And I've also put some questions on a slide at the end as well, just to make sure I address the things that you're wanting to know. Yeah, so to tell you a bit more about the MSc. So it's designed for those with an interest and some experience in genealogy. So not for beginners, but yeah, certainly kind of intermediate level of genealogy. You've done quite a lot of research, or you might already be working with clients. And our aim really is to provide you with a thorough grounding in the theory and practice of genealogical research. And on a later slide, I'll go over some of the topics and different areas that we cover as part of the MSc. And it is a broad church, and we do tend to look at lots of different types of records. It's suitable for individuals interested in developing their expertise. So you may be thinking as setting yourself up as a freelance genealogist, or you might be thinking of working for a genealogy company. So we do have quite a lot of materials that are focused on becoming freelance and advancing your career in that way. But also we have lots of people who are just really passionate about genealogy, might have come to it later in life, or are looking to do a career change, but might not necessarily be thinking about a career, and the course is for you as well. So we have a good mix of people who've come to genealogy for lots of different reasons. One of the great aspects of the course is it's delivered online, and you can study it distance learning from anywhere in the world. And we offer flexible study options and multiple start dates as well. So we have full-time, part-time and modular ways of studying. A lot of the course is asynchronous, so there are a few questions around live sessions, so I'll come to that at the end. But a lot of what you're doing is in your own time, so you can fit it around if you have caring responsibilities or work responsibilities. And that makes it a very appealing option for lots of people. We try as much as possible, because we're aware you're in lots of different time zones, to make sessions available to you at different times, so you're not having to join in the middle of the night. But we also record a lot of our sessions as well, so you can catch up on them later on. Yeah, so how is the course structured and taught? So we think of it as having three parts. So it has the postgraduate certificate, the diploma, and then the dissertation level. You can obviously do the full MSc, which includes a dissertation, but you can also do the different parts. So you can slot out and receive the PG certificate, so that's a proper qualification, and also the same with the diploma as well. So if you don't want to go through the full dissertation, obviously we're delighted when you do, but if you want to come out at different levels, then you can. Our course is delivered, as I said, it's online, it's distance learning, but that's through a virtual learning environment, and at Strathclyde that's called My Place. So that's a place, like a one-stop shop, where you can go and you can find all the course materials, all the Zoom session links are there, all the recordings, where you would submit your assignments, that's where, so all of that happens in one place. We're also now using Microsoft Teams as well. It's kind of built in, kind of bolt on to My Place. Our sessions are taught via written and audio lectures. We have multimedia presentations, online discussion forums, as I said, real-time Zoom chat sessions. So it's not just about working through written materials. There's lots of places to interact with other students, to interact with your tutor and the wider team. So yeah, we try to make it as kind of interactive and engaging as possible. There's direct tutor support. So what that means is that you're assigned a tutor at the beginning of term. Your tutors might change throughout the course, but you'll have one tutor for, say, the certificate, then you might have a different tutor for the diploma and the dissertation. But that means you've got a person who is named that you're in contact with. They mark most of your work. That's the person that you would email with queries. So it's nice to have that named person, I think, particularly online. So you have someone direct contact, and obviously there's the wider team as well. There's me as the course director, and then there's lead tutors as well on different parts of the program. We also offer, so we have the live sessions that we offer during the term, but we have weekly drop-in sessions as well. So that's on Tuesday and Wednesday afternoons, depending on what part of the course you're on. And you can sign up for a 15-minute or half an hour slot, and that's one of the core teams. So if you've got a burning question or you're struggling to understand an assignment, that's a point where you can actually have live time with someone to go through something. And it's a nice way as well to connect with other members of the team. There are no exams, hooray! And so we have continuous assessment throughout the course with a focus on real world tasks. So we have lots of mini assessments that go throughout, and then you have bigger assessments at the end of each module. And as you're going through the course, you're moving on to the diploma, you're getting larger research focused assessments in that kind of that latter half. Um, yeah, so this is just a broad summary of what the course covers. But to give you kind of a bit more information about the different levels. So in the certificate, we look at things like ethics and standards, a huge variety of records. So civil and church records, a census, maps, newspapers, bit of medieval genealogy. So covering lots of different time periods as well. Of course, the DNA and genetic genealogy, dipping your toe into a bit of heraldry and Latin as well near the end of the certificate. And also from this year, we've already started to look at generative AI in the certificate, but we're going to have some more teaching materials on that as well from this coming academic year. The certificate is very much focused on the kind of professional practice of doing genealogy, so covering a wide range of records, repositories, how to use catalogues, but also focusing on standardising your approach to research and using primary sources. So with the diploma is really broadening out and developing your research practice, bringing those two elements together. So the certificate's really honing the diploma is really honing your research and academic writing skills. And again, going deeper into the genetic genealogy, looking at Irish records, broadening out geographically. So US, Canada, the British Empire, European and Jewish records, and then doing more heraldry. We've got area building study, client study, options, assignments that look at maybe migration, paleography, heraldry. So lots and lots of different topics to look at. So there'll be things that will be familiar to you if you've already been doing genealogy, but there'll probably be new things that you haven't come across before that you can get your teeth into. And often students won't have done something like heraldry, for example, before they come on the course, and then they get really excited about it and really into it. So it's really nice to see students picking up new topics and interests as they go through the course. Yeah, so what are the benefits of studying with us? So you gain lots of skills in research, record analysis, and academic writing. See, we're in MSc, so we have that academic focus as well as that professional practice focus. It's deepening your understanding of the field and professional genealogy. Like as Tahisha was saying at the beginning, you would be part of the Strathclyde Institute for Genealogical Studies, which is connecting you with academics working in this field, professionals working in the field. So getting a real sense and understanding of what genealogy looks like in all of these different areas. The flexible learning options that I've already discussed, but if you've got any questions about that, then do ask me at the end. And you're also part of not just the MSc, not just the Strathclyde Institute for Genealogical Studies, but also Strathclyde University. So a wide range of services available. So we've got a great careers department, we've got an excellent library. We've also got disability and wellbeing service to support you in your studies. And you're also getting that professional recognition as well by having the full MSc, but also the certificate and the diploma as well. And probably the most important thing, and the thing that we see in student feedback, is being able to connect with other passionate genealogists from across the world, kind of finding your people and getting to talk about genealogy. Yes, so a little bit on the entry requirements. Again, if you want further clarification on this, then do ask. We normally require a degree or similar evidence of those types of study skills. However, we're aware that people come to our course at all different points in their career and their life. So we'll look at non-standard educational or professional qualifications. As I said at the beginning, we're looking for you to have some experience in genealogy or other relevant research, so maybe history or another maybe humanities subject. But we look for a range of sources used and a level of comfort with communicating those results. But we're really open to discussing that with you. So if you're not sure about whether your qualifications are going to match up, then just get in touch and we're happy to discuss options with you. So yeah, don't think it's not for you. We'd much prefer for you to reach out and discuss options with us. So a little bit about fees. I'm not going to go through all these different levels and amounts because what I'll do when the recording becomes available, we'll send around the slides as well so you can have access to this. But you can see here the general amounts for full-time. So I should mention as well with full-time that we're not running the full-time this year. That will be available again from 26-27, but we are offering the part-time study and modular, so you can see the different levels here. I've done the exchange rates into dollars from this morning, and they changed quite significantly from January when I did it before. So, so these, I hope, are pretty up to date for you. Yeah, and I think probably an important question, when do we start? So as I said, we've not got full-time running this year, but part-time starts on the 3rd of October, and modular also starts then, but the modular is more flexible. So with full-time and part-time, we usually start at 1 point during the year, but modular you can start at 3 points. So I've put those dates in. So you can start module 1 either in October, January or April. And there's an induction week as well for each version that starts the week before these start dates. Yes, just some links that will be helpful when we send the slides around. So our email, any questions at all, do get in touch with us. Go on our website if you haven't already. So we've got up-to-date timetables, we've got frequently asked questions and further information about the course and also more detail about the topics and the things that we cover. And also there's a link as well to apply. I've added some slides as well about funding and financial support. So there's a team at Strathclyde that deal with funding and financial support. And mainly this is useful for the links that when we kind of follow up with the recording. So I'll just kind of leave those there so you can just have a look at the type of things. So funding bodies, scholarships, funding entitlement. And this is more for what we call home students. So students based in the UK. And the type of funding that's available and the different, sometimes modular courses aren't usually eligible for student funding, I would advise that you always check with a funder. But yeah, a bit more information on that as well. And most importantly, their contact details. Yes, and a bit more on the different email addresses for the different things. So student funding, applications, and then student loans as well for in the UK. Yeah, so Tisha, did you want to add anything? Is there anything I missed there?
No, I don't think you missed anything,
No,
Khaleesi. Yeah,
no,
yeah,
it's
spot
good.
on.
I think I can see some stuff coming into the chat. So I'll work through these questions that we got before the session started. So are there live tutorial sessions and when will they be held? So yes, there are live tutorial sessions. In the part-time and modular, those are optional. They're not compulsory to attend. What we tend to do with part-time is that we have the same session run twice in a week. So I'll try and do one in the daytime and then one in the evening. And that's to help people who are working or have other responsibilities, but also if you're in a different time zone as well. Both those sessions are recorded. So what I tend to do is run the session and then the following day, the recording will be made available on my place and you can access it that way. It means that you can actually go back and revisit sessions. So even if you've attended, then it's quite nice if there's something that I covered that you wanted to go over, so you can revisit those sessions as well. I also try and I don't have them on the same days, so I try to mix it up a little bit. So, a student might always work on a Monday. Well, it's quite good that I've moved the sessions around a bit so they can at least attend some of them. But the key thing with any live session is that it's recorded and made available afterwards. Are there one-to-one sessions, and what day would they be? So those are the drop-in sessions that I talked about before. So again, that's something through My Place that you can just go on and book 15 minutes or half an hour. And they're always run by the core team. So there's a core team of 5 of us that run those sessions. And yeah, so you can have a look at who's going to be running the session, because there might be a person that you actually want to talk to because it's their course materials, or you met them in another chat session and you want to ask some follow-up questions, or it might be me that you want to talk to, so you're looking down for my name on the schedule. So yeah, so those are the one-to-one sessions you can sign up for, and they run every week throughout term time. Someone was asking about how the modular schedule works. Um, so with modular, you're basically, if I talk about the certificate is made up of 6 separate 10-credit modules, so that's 60 credits in total. And what you're doing with the modular is that you are doing a module at a time. So you can do 3 modules in a year, so you might do 1 in October, 2 in January, and 3 in April. The nice thing about the modular program is that you can take a break, so that will often be why someone chooses it, because it has that flexibility. So you might be working and you have a particularly heavy workload in January, so you might want to miss that term and then do module 2 in April. So I think probably the key thing about the modular is that flexibility, and just having kind of one set of learning materials and one big assessment to focus on at one point. You can only do the modular through certificate and then diploma, and then for the dissertation, everyone goes part-time. But that would be, we can always talk to you about workload once, yeah, if you were on the course and you want to know a few more about the kind of specifics of that. Um, yeah, so someone asked, can you share an example of an assessment and a learning log? So I thought I'd just pick out a couple of assessments just across the program. So for the certificate, one of the bigger assessments, we give you little bit of information, just enough to go off on a kind of research journey. And then we look for you to build a 4-generation ancestor study. Later on in the certificate, we have a narrative report of 2,000 words, and you're given a choice of topics. There's a paleography assessment. So we give you a document, might be a will or something similar, that you can you go off and transcribe and research some of the elements of it. We also have in both the certificate and the diploma a client report, because we're keen for you to basically do like real world assessment, something that you would actually do if you were working as a freelance genealogist. So there's a kind of slightly smaller version of that in the certificate, and then a bigger version in the diploma, where we're looking for you to not just look at primary sources, but secondary sources as well. In the diploma, there's a really nice, this one's particularly popular with students, a case study, which is a choice between a geographical area or a house or building. So basically doing a house or building study. And that involves the production of a narrative report, so 2,000 words based on original research in primary and secondary sources. And we also have a migration study as well in the diploma. So that just gives you an idea of the type of assessments that we do across the different levels. Yeah, so the learning log. There's no one way to do the learning log, and it's something that really is for your own use. It's a way we want you to be, when you're working through the course, reflecting on your practice, reflecting on the things that you've learned, and thinking about future activities, things you're kind of puzzling over, what you found challenging, things that you might want to come back to. So it's very much a tool for you to use as you go through the course. We do ask you to submit it, but that will just be a little bit of feedback from your tutor about your journey and some of your reflections. So yeah, so that's the purpose of the learning log. Some students do it as a spreadsheet, and they'll do it as they go through the term, or a Word document, but we're flexible really, just as long as you're reflecting. We don't really mind how you structure it. Yeah, so someone asked how much group work is there. So we have 2 group work assessments, one in the certificate and one in the diploma. It's a nice way to connect with other students. Actually, we find that when students are in the group work together, then they often form a little cohort, and they might do other things together. They might meet on Zoom, or sometimes meet in person. So yeah, it's a nice way to connect with others. Yeah, and then someone asked, this isn't to do with the MSc, but often students now are completing the MSc and moving on to the PhD. So yeah, so just to flag that we do have a PhD in history and genealogical studies. So that's um, a joint venture between us and the history department. You can do that full-time or part-time, and there's lots of information about the PhD online. But if anyone wants any further information, then do drop us an email and we can send you some further details. I think